all our memories are preserved. And for all the things that we have accomplished, there's still one major setback that prohibits any advancement of any inventor in his or her own time: the problem of a limited lifetime. Aging may soon become a thing of the past.
I'll be happy if you find somebody else in time. Just let me go for peace of mind. Risk my life for you so you'll be fine. Thought that we were meant to be, but you and I would always disagree. We're not on track, oh baby, can't you see? We can't go back goodbye to some degree.
Hey, Hans here. Now, the biggest challenges of the 21st century is our reliance on computers that has grown exponentially. Computer processors have become increasingly complex, and every day, millions of data are extrapolated, searched, and controlled by the tech giants that in turn process these data sets into a massive network called the internet. But all this is changing with the recent innovations in genetic engineering. Age may soon be reduced to a mere concept from which we keep track of each other's existence with a number, without losing the efficiency of the body and its beauty and robustness. Okay, two technologies that I wish to discuss here: CRISPR and stem cell. Let's start with stem cell. What is stem cell? There are literally thousands of videos dedicated to the science of this topic. But for those of you who don't, just want to get a grasp of what stem cell really is, it's basically health regeneration. Dr. David Sinclair, a scientist at Harvard Medical School, a school that needs no introduction, led a research team that conducted several experiments that altered the epigenome of several mice. Without going much into detail, the basics of an epigenome is that it contains the information on how all cells are being created. With multiple repetitive instances of copying and pasting, data is generally lost in a very small fraction, which essentially over time amounts to something more significant. This is why over many years we tend to lose our energy and youth, and our skin becomes bad and ugly. Dr. David Sinclair thought that by replacing the lost data within the epigenome, the process of replication, that is the copying and pasting of cells to form new cells to replace the dead ones, the researchers could somehow minimize the deterioration or degradation of cells, which in effect preserve the entire organism. In this case, the mice. As we age, our cells deteriorate and we essentially become less and less of our old self. Instead of having a new and better self, what is happening to us is the complete opposite. In scientific terms, this process of aging is called entropy. And there's a whole other discussion about the law of entropy, which I'll talk about in the future. But to summarize, the law of entropy states all things organized, given enough time, will always go back to the state of being disorganized. In this case, the cells that make up the body, given enough time, will start to grow in the wrong places, which is commonly known as cancer. Dr. Sinclair's team successfully accelerated the aging of one of the mice, making the mice older. The same process is applicable to preserving the youthness of the mice. So why did they make the mice older instead of younger, you ask? Well, so that they could literally see the results faster. It would certainly save more time to make one older than to preserve the age of the other one, which in that case, they would need to wait for the other mice to age naturally to compare the results with. Sometimes could take years in some experiments. Those years could be spent in developing newer breakthroughs. So, where exactly does stem cell fit into this? Stem cells are freshly created cells that are produced at birth. Most stem cells from all animals, they are all equal until the copy and paste of genetic material that dictates the function of these stem cells. This means that instead of relying on an organ donor, you can actually grow your own set, kind of like planting potatoes in your own backyard so that you can make some French fries when you binge watch my YouTube videos. Well, minus the part where you actually plant, because you don't plant the cells, you grow them. There are many methods of getting stem cell implants in your body, and one of the most popular methods is extracting your DNA and growing alongside laboratory equipment, which is later injected to you multiple times. considering the fact that the entire process cost about 4 million in Philippine currency. And the fact that anesthesia kills stem cells makes it a literally painful process. However, in 2019, a company from Singapore called Riway created the first method of orally taking stem cells without the cells being killed by the hunger acid in your tummy. The process is simple. A person just takes a glass of water and drinks it with a stem cell capsule gel, a process that is repeated up to 4 times a day on specific intervals. The cost of this has improved significantly compared to the previous $4 million price, and currently sits at about the monthly price of an expensive medical insurance budget, without the risk of being murdered for your inheritance, of course. Imagine if you were paying for an accident insurance with money that you will never get back, unless of course an accident happens to you, which kind of makes you wish for your own demise, rather than being safe for the whole year and regretting all those payments that you could have used to purchase NFTs from our shop. So, do you think it's better to buy more years into your life, or do you think it's better to buy an insurance policy to ensure that your loved ones will receive something in the event that your finite life is over? Either way, let me know in the comments. Let's talk about the second technology I mentioned earlier, CRISPR. If stem cell was giving you better fresh copies of your own cells to make, CRISPR takes this concept to a whole new game. In a nutshell, CRISPR allows you to edit the baby's resistance to HIV and other possible sicknesses. It could also be used to enhance a baby's intelligence before it's even born. Although, there's some ethical sadness over this topic, especially when it comes to people who are tied to certain religious beliefs that oppose gene editing. A scientist and doctor in China even got arrested for gene editing, although I'm not quite sure which law he violated, considering that there is currently no regulation about gene editing and any similar new technologies. I'll get back to this in a bit. It's illegal in some countries to change stuff in your body. That would be a serious threat to iPhone security, never mind the fingerprint reader. It's a scary thought when you consider that there are places on Earth where we don't own our body. Heck, let's move to Mars. The inventors of CRISPR gained a Nobel Prize in 2020. Despite the presence of a few aka concerned citizens, the whole world still has recognized CRISPR as a great contribution to humanity. Exactly the point of a Nobel Prize. Scientists in China, Germany, USA, and Singapore are working on the applications of CRISPR in deleting HIV from our gene pool, while also increasing the intelligence of a new type of babies, called designer babies. This is a very controversial topic, and there are a lot of negative opinions that I chose not to include in this video because I intend to only provide the facts of these advancements. For the purposes of this video, I will present you an awareness that these negative opinions exist to give you the freedom to come up with your own unbiased opinion. Worrying and gossiping are like a virus. It spreads fast, but doesn't really solve anything. The first designer babies to come into existence is Lulu and Nana. The info about Lulu and Nana is currently being suppressed, possibly because of the fact that the doctor I mentioned earlier was penalized for not securing government approval before doing such a breakthrough. I leave you to do your own research on what the Chinese government did to him. His name is He Jiankui. Now, you may think that this is science fiction. We live in a world where reality is what Hollywood makes, and the news you see is fake. If that made you laugh, comment your review on my channel. And if it didn't, then maybe you can let me know. Now let's talk about the cost and accessibility of CRISPR and how average people like you and me can get our hands on it. CRISPR liquids are actually available as home kits for enthusiasts who want to try out tech for their pets or plants at home. A community has grown to become gene editing hobbyists who call themselves biohackers. This is mainly due to the fact that these home kits are harmless edits, such as bioluminescence or making your fish glow, or making a tomato more resistant to rotting. The results are called GMOs, or genetically modified organisms, and each home kit costs around $8 to $10 to purchase from Amazon or eBay, or up to 1,000 in Philippine currency if you include the shipping costs, which is a part you might actually find challenging, especially if customs doesn't allow you to pass through. Unless of course you ask the seller to misdeclare with something like a cell phone replacement screen from China, instead of the more suspicious gene editing injection for enhanced muscular strength AstraZeneca version. That wasn't a suggestion, by the way. I didn't give you an idea and you didn't see this. Technology today makes a very interesting time to live. 1989 was a controversial year with UFOs and Bob Lazar. Shout out if you were born in 1989. Everyone who were born from 1989 were the only people who have actually witnessed the evolution of horses to self-driving cars, beeper to Apple Watch, the P.O. Box to WhatsApp, theaters to Netflix, TV to YouTube, and more importantly, surgery to nanotechnology. We've come a long way from merely surviving death to actually enjoying life. The only question is, will immortality create overpopulation? We'll explore more about this in the next chapters on Mars and space travel and a few other topics. You can soon get your hands on my book, The School of Thought, Thought as in T-A-U-G-H-T. It will be released later this year and it will take you to a whole new level of understanding the universe, economics, and other things that you might find interesting. And I'm giving away 10 copies of this book for free. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is to add the word thought in your comments below, and I will select 10 random people when it's available. Let me know what you think in the comments section and subscribe now to get the latest trends and updates. Peace.